Chance Collins. I'm a captain with the Texas Rangers here in Austin, Texas. Well, I'm currently a supervisor over a criminal investigation division of the state police. So I interact in that setting, supervising individuals that are conducting investigation.
I'm Randy DeBrava. I'm general counsel here at TMPA. That means I'm the chief lawyer here at TMPA. Mine are primarily in representing police officers when they're accused of misconduct.
My name is Laura Renaga, and I am a grad student at Texas State. I don't have many interactions with them other than, I guess, traffic stops.
Hi, my name is Aubrey Devos, and my major at Texas State is accounting. And I work part-time for the intramural sports here at Texas State, and I'm a full-time student. I would like to say that the criminal justice system and me, we have rapport, because I have gotten some tickets before, and there were some pretty expensive tickets. But other than that, nothing really. Other than I've had a couple family members in jail. Other than that, nothing too serious.
Lizetta, 19, health and wellness promotional major, and I work at the outlets at Adidas. Right now is speeding, but I've also had like interactions like noise complaints and stuff. I had where I have to be the person, that guy that complains.
Hi, my name is Kia Norwood. I'm a senior here studying communication studies, and I work for career services.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Price. I'm a senior also. I'm a psychology major, and I actually work at the housing department here on campus.
Say no.
Not really. The most I've ever had is my freshman year. I took 2 criminal justice classes. So we talked a little bit about like the fundamental laws and everything like that. But as far as like interaction with like a police officer or any type of court or judge system, I haven't done that.
My name is Israel Moreno. This is my wife, Jennifer Ignacio Moreno.
I was born in Lockhart, Texas, and I grew up in the area. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice from Texas State and a Master's of Science in Criminal Justice from Texas State as well.
I, unfortunately, wasn't born in Texas. I was born in Wisconsin but raised in South Texas.
I don't have any interactions with the criminal justice system. However, I work in the criminal justice area in providing training to law enforcement officers on how to investigate violent crimes against women.
My name is Hilda Bessa.
My name is Jennifer Carrion. I am an adjunct instructor at Texas State University. I teach juvenile justice, 2 sections per semester. For my full-time position, I am a policy researcher with the Texas Criminal Justice Coalition, primarily with the Solutions for Youth Justice Project.
I have been treated fairly in the system, and I don't feel that my socioeconomic status would determine how I would be treated.
No. They just, I was speeding, gave me the ticket. Well, in the cases that I interacted with them, it was just a speeding ticket, so they had no way of knowing my socioeconomic status.
I wouldn't say I've been treated unfairly. I do feel that the justice system can sometimes look at a situation from their point of view and not from a holistic point of view. But me personally, I haven't been treated unjustly by the justice system.
Unfortunately, yes, I have been treated unfairly because of the fact that I work during the summer. I work in West Texas, and in West Texas they're mostly, I guess, white, and I'm a migrant. They treat us different just because my workers or my dad's workers are illegal. So I'm considered to be, I guess I'm discriminated against a little bit. And I was discriminated against these past few years. Yes, I believe that is true. The fact that if I was a lot, if my parents were a lot richer or anything like that, my color was different, I feel like I would be treated a lot different, maybe a lot more respect, maybe given more chances, a lot more opportunities, I guess, and get away with stuff a lot easier.
I'm gonna have to say no. Since I haven't had any involvement with them, no, and then I haven't really known anyone that has been treated.
And the same goes for me. I really haven't had experience with the criminal system?
I say yes.
Race and all that, and your socioeconomic status has a lot to do with the criminal system. I feel like if you make more money, people are more willing to hear you out, and if you're like on that poor or you're middle or lower class, people are really quick to like shun you off and say, well, you're a bad person, or because you're a lower socioeconomic status, that you're more likely to get in trouble and stuff like that.
I have not personally been treated unfairly. Some members of my family have, but I have not experienced it.
I have not either. I believe some of my family members have, but me personally, no.
I believe there are some instances where yes, they would.
Yes.
I think the lower socioeconomic status people, they get more harsher treatment versus the higher SES people who, money talks and get their way out of stuff.
Absolutely. I do think that there are a significant portion of minorities that are unfortunately what some scholars would call truly disadvantaged, where they are not going to be able to surpass the social stigma of what has been attached to them, speaking primarily of African Americans. They have lived in poverty. Their society, their community has the complications of thriving in a poverty state economy community, and unfortunately community members around them don't necessarily prioritize them as a racial or ethnic group to promote or support to progress through society. So until the remainder of the community members are going to choose to help out, I think that this population really will be truly disadvantaged.
Someone in poverty could be any number of, or could be a wide range of individuals, especially in today's age, with the job market the way it is. I mean, you may have someone who grew up in poverty who lives in a crime-riddled neighborhood versus someone who has completed their college education and can't seem to get a job anywhere, maybe living in poverty and struggling to make ends meet. I think it's an individual's own determination on which way they're going to go. Certainly they may be born into a certain situation, but they make the decisions on whether or not they're going to commit certain offenses. And if they're in an environment where they're seeing offenses being committed every day, and that's part of their learning process as they grow up, they may be more tend to committing offenses versus someone who hasn't been in that situation.
I think they probably get caught for more crimes because there are the crimes, like I'm saying, that are personal safety crimes. I don't know, I couldn't tell you whether they commit more crimes or not. Different types of crimes. I mean, with the wealthy, you have securities fraud, you have a lot of money crimes. But so I couldn't tell you one or the other whether they do. I don't know. I imagine there's surveys and statistics done on that.
Personally, no, I think it kind of goes hand in hand, depends on the person, because just people always kind of say that because if you live in poverty, you are more prone to commit crime or do anything that way. But I don't necessarily believe that's all the way true all the time, because it can be people who are wealthier and they may do it just for silly reasons. Like, it's not really necessarily a reason why people commit crime when they do. Like, I just think that's something you'll never really understand. I think it shouldn't always be put on poverty.
I also totally agree. I feel like people with like white collar or higher paying jobs do just as much crime as people in poverty, they just don't get caught doing it. In my classes, I'm taking like forensic psychology class, and we talk about law all the time. He constantly says how a lot of people with higher paying jobs do a lot of crime, like embezzling and stuff like that. They just don't get caught doing it, or it's not on the news as much as somebody in poverty doing some type of crime.
Yes and no. I'm gonna lean more towards no, because you have a lot of white-collar people out here that do tend to break the law more than not break the law. The only difference between them and the poor is that the poor get caught easily. It's easier to catch them than it is to catch the wealthier people. So it would be yes and it would be no. Yeah, it's really just based off of a perception of how you look at it and where you are in the hierarchy.
No, I think it's pretty much an even number all the way around. But I think they're looked at as creating more crime and blamed for more crime than another socioeconomic status, such as a wealthy person.
Yes, because, again, those who are in power make the rules. Unfortunately, those who are in power and making the rules are not minorities. And it's up to them to designate social and financial classes. And we've seen it over the past several years where the middle class is no longer the middle class. If what once was the middle class is now the upper lower class. And those brackets have just been getting wider and wider, and the only ones that sit on top are the ones who are making the rules.
I think so. I think that probably you have a lot of people who came from different countries who started from the beginning. So they, first generation Americans probably struggle a little bit more. I think so.
Actually, I'm gonna have to say no. Like I said in the previous question, it's broad. The light is shown more on minorities versus the majorities, because thinking since we are in poverty, we're gonna be the ones that most likely commit the crime. But like you just said, they just do it but don't get caught.
And I totally agree also. I don't think it's mainly minorities living in poverty. It's everyone. You just don't see the majority as much as you see minorities.
So, I mean, especially here in Texas, because we're so close to Mexico and stuff, and I guess we are the minority right now.
Yes, I'm gonna say the minority. They're just I feel like they're underrepresented because you have a lot of people out here. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people that have made something of themselves that are minorities, but for the most part, I feel like minorities are still backlogged with the amount of resources and stuff that they should receive compared to the majority.
I don't think it affects the judges so much, but if the juries see evidence outside the courtroom, it can affect them. I mean, because they're the fact finders in the criminal cases. It's not usually if the judge is the fact finder, it might affect him, but they're used to all that. But the individual lay jurors, if they're exposed to all that, it's going to affect them. Because you have the psychological effect of primacy, which means first impression. Once it's created, you're then going to view facts in light of that first impression. And then, so if someone has already created an impression in somebody's mind through the media that facts occurred in this specific way, then you're going to be trying to look at those facts to match up with that initial determination that the facts were committed in that way. So it's harder to come out than an attack and overcome that bias already from the primacy at that point.
I hope not for judges, because that's oh my gosh, that's trouble for everybody. Trouble for society. Trouble for America. I would hope not for judges, but we're all human. We all sometimes are emotion led versus logically led. Jurors, I mean, isn't that how they pick a verdict, off of who they think is wrong or guilty or innocent? So I think it's really easy to get swayed.
I do think if we use that case and the OJ case, I do think that they do use like the media. As the bigger it gets, the harder it is on the jurors to make a rash decision based on what they think, because you have a lot of people in the world that view stuff like that and they're like, oh well, they should be convicted or they should not be convicted. So you have like this conflicting idea between people on the against and the for. So I would think that yes, it would potentially have an effect on a juror to make a decision.
Yeah, the media, the way the media portrays people, the minorities especially, it really affects how we are treated, or the way everybody's treated around. Like, for example, I guess if you're like darker skin, or you are being discriminated against, and saying like the punishment should be more difficult on you than it should be on a person who is light skinned.
I would have to say yes, because no matter how hard you try not to put your own certain bias on people, at times you fall to that, because if you constantly see that this certain person, this lower status person constantly is involved in crime, and they come to your courtroom, you're going to be like, clearly you've done this because this is what I've been seeing, or what I've been taught and shown by media.
I do think that a label of a youth in that situation can significantly contribute to his or her delinquent activities, because of the fact that kids seek approval. That if you call them something, regardless of what it be, if you call them a superstar or if you call them a hoodlum, they're going to aspire to be whatever you're calling them. And yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy will kick in, and you call them bad long enough, then they're going to turn out bad, because that's all they know. And they say, since people seem to think that I'm bad, might as well live up to it, I'm going to do it. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to shake. And with kids of color, not only are they labeled, their society's labeled, their community's labeled. So they're fighting multiple labels, not just one.
I feel as though the majority commit crime, or the minority commit crimes because they're doing it for a purpose to not only help them, but maybe help somebody else that does need help. Like if they have children, for example, they would steal food from a grocery store to feed their children. So in turn, it is bad what they're doing, and it is illegal. But at the same time, it's for a greater cause.
Yeah, I guess so. Just because you're being labeled, you basically, people are telling you what you are, and after being told so many times, you're like, well, if that's what I am, that's what I am, and they're more likely to commit it, I guess. So yeah.
No, I believe that is just the stereotyping, as you said. A person can become or be anybody that they want to be, just because you came from a lower income family, and that's just the label that you've been given, or your mom, your dad, or vice versa has done that, does not mean that you're just going to fall in that trap. So, everyone's different. Some people may take that to strive better and strive even further, and not continue the stereotype or keep that train going. And then some people just kind of fall into that and use it as a crutch or excuse as, oh, this is why the way I am, because I came from X, Y, and Z.
And I totally agree with what she says, but I do think a lot of people do say, because I have this label attached to me because of my race or my socioeconomic status, that they do tend to fall into crime because they think that's what's expected of them. I kind of have like friends and stuff like that who say, well, no one thinks any better of me, so I might as well just do this. So I do think people fall into that cycle of what's been labeled to lower socioeconomic status.